Hello, good evening, everybody. Hope you're all doing great, and I hope your week has been fantastic. At the moment, it's just me on air. We're still waiting for Vinod and Bhargavi to join. But if you're joining us just now, you can always feel free to jump in, uh, give us some comments on what you think about anything that we are doing or anything in general from the startup ecosystem space. But for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, we are Java Capital, a syndicate, angel syndicate based out of India. We launched Java in 2020, and we're coming up on our first year anniversary. There's been a small debate on when exactly we started this, whether it is March or April, May. But there's a little bit of tug and pull on that. But either way, we'll be hitting our first year anniversary, so we're super excited about it. Um, in terms of news, there are some interesting things that have been happening with our portfolio companies. So I think we'll just talk a little bit about that when Bhargavi and Vinod join us. Do check out our portfolio. We've invested in about close to 10 companies now since we started in March. Some of the deals we haven't announced yet, but some we did announce. And we have some interesting news on one of our portfolio companies as well, which we will likely share. Okay, I think I'm just joined by Vinod. So I'm just gonna loop him in. Hey, Vinod.
Hey, Karthik. Good to be back on Freewheeling Fridays after a week or so.
Vinod can't hear you. I think you're on mute or something,
Okay, can you hear me now?
or something is wrong on my end.
I
Yeah, it
can
looks
hear
like
you.
something is wrong on my end. One second. Yeah, I can hear you now, Vinod.
Awesome, great. I can hear you. And I was just telling it's good to be back to do this freewheeling together. Uh, I think we've not done it for some time. I'm just looking if we've got the stream going. All it feels
Yeah,
fresh to
yeah,
do
yeah.
this.
We do. We have the stream going on. So this is again, this week is going to be a totally freewheeling, right? So there's no preparation that has gone into it. Which is exactly what the purpose of this,
We did
right?
every week. Yeah.
It's supposed to be freewheeling, right? Every week it's turning into a completely freewheeling thing. But no matter how freewheeling you want it to be, right? There has to be some preparation that should go into right when you do these things, mainly because you just need to know what are the topics that you want to discuss, nothing beyond that, right? It's not like you're reading up books for like 2-3 hours and preparing or anything like that, right? um, but I think I just gave a hint earlier on that there are some positive news with regards to one of our portfolio companies. If people have looked it up online, they would see it. So that is something that we can break during this session today, right?
Yeah. I think that's already broken, right? I'm assuming you're talking about the YC company. Yeah.
That's correct. Yes. I don't think we've done it on freewheeling though, have
Not on
we?
freewheeling. Yeah, not
Yeah,
on
yeah,
freewheeling. But yeah, it's been in the media last
yeah.
week or so. Yes.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I think the announcement is essentially, we were supposed to do one more announcements this week, which sadly got postponed by some more time. But this announcement is one of our portfolio companies, Codingle, got picked up by Y Combinator um, to their latest batch. What is it, like summer 20, winter
This is
21 batch, or what is
this
it
is the
called?
winter batch. This is the winter 20 batch.
21, right? 20 batch.
20. Yeah, winter 20.
Yeah. So that's the big news for us this week. Let me also just put it up on the screen so people have a sense of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. It's raining cats and dogs here, Vinod. What about you?
Yeah. Same here. Unexpected rains, mango.
Unexpected rain, man. Yeah, totally.
We call this as mango showers in Bangalore.
Mango showers. Yeah, okay. Why?
Yeah, you'll have the mango season starting off now.
Okay. This is like a precursor to the mango season.
Correct. So it's always there, and the weather is very nice that way. It was starting to get a little hot, but yeah, I think it's pretty cool now. Yeah, and
True. So yeah, I'm just gonna put it up on the screen. Just a second. Here we go. There you go. So that's the big news. Let me just do this. Yeah. So, I mean, I think most of you guys, who tune into this program pretty much every week know that this company has got, I mean, the founders have come online to speak with us. Um, so, it's it's not news that these guys are some kick-ass founders. So, we're very happy to share this news with all of you guys. Anything to add, Vinod?
I think nothing specific, Karthik. But yeah, I think this has been like great progress. To be there. Yeah, absolutely good progress that we are seeing in the company. And if you are having kids and you want kids to learn coding, here's a great place to learn coding from teachers who done coding prior. And there's also a sense of community that's built around how what coding is teaching for kids. If somebody is looking at it, please go and take a look at Coding's website. And if you have kids, please feel free to enroll them. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you and I were in a clubhouse conversation yesterday, right? We did not participate as moderators or anything like that, but we still did listen to some of the conversations that were happening there. And I believe one of the guests, Ashley Lani, was telling how what sets some of the great founders apart from the rest of the pack, right? I just wanted to, keeping that in mind, I just wanted to share about Vivek, and coding, like how um, you have least amount of work to do with this company. You'll always get updates on time. You will always get, a response from the company on any question that you ask. So it's just a completely hassle-free sort of an investment for us, and it's like tremendous focus when it comes to the founders on what they want to achieve. It just sometimes it's a whole package, right? And you get lucky with that. I think coding is one of those examples.
Mm, 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 mm. Got it. Absolutely. Perfect. Yeah.
All right, so this is the big news this week for us. And
So that Karthik, gets us into an interesting segue, and obviously Bhargavi might join us, right? There has been a crazy, list of acquisitions in the tech space in the last month or so, Karthik, if you noticed. So I just want to run through the list, because I retweeted a tweet by one of the founders of one of the journalists from Entracker, and I'll share you the link also. You can probably pull that up. He talks about Baiju acquiring scholars, Reliance acquires, Millbasket. That's not a tech. An Academy acquires staff chief. An Academy acquires. Yes, staff chief. Baiju acquires Stopper and Neobank. So what basically, I'm hinting at, right? The number of acquisitions in the last 1 week announcement, right, is significant, Karthik. Yeah.
yeah, I'm just trying to pull up the tweet that you're talking about, so the viewers can see it as well. So here we go. Yeah, so this is the one.
I mean, it's got some edtech heavy acquisitions. Sorry, for sure. But it also has other acquisitions, definitely, right? So that is like interesting thing for the ecosystem, right? I think that's like a lot of
Yeah.
on the acquisition side for the first time. Like this is quite a bit, yeah. Neobank acquiring
Mhm.
Optoviz is all over the
No,
world.
this is fantastic, right? Like other startups acquiring other startups.
Yes.
All of this, all these days, the questions about
Not
where are the
just
exits going to come from.
yeah, not just startups, Karthik. If you notice, right, there are two big corporates,
Correct.
100-year-old business.
Yes. Yes. For
Uh,
sure. For sure.
Then there's Reliance acquiring milk baskets. So that's
Yeah.
actually worth talking. Are we talking the M&A scene? For startups, being so good like never before. I'm excited. I'm like hopeful.
Hmm.
I'm excited because you need these exits, right? You need these small exits, big exits, and that needs to happen for the ecosystem cycle to kind of continue to kick off, right? So, how many of these acquisitions will create $1 million angel investors or liquidity in some of these early
Hmm.
employees?
Hmm.
All
Hmm.
that is going to do two things, right? I think Sanjay yesterday's conversation, you said right, he hinted about that. Yeah, one is money getting recycled and these people coming back and starting second time, third time again.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
I think this is the start of a great virtuous cycle, is my sense.
No, and Vinod, in this whole situation, right, one thing that really gets overlooked is really the ESOPs, right? The liquidity that employees are finally able to get.
Yeah,
We've seen the frequency of ESOP buybacks increasing, year after year.
yeah,
All of these things, like I said, are they like tailwinds propelling the ecosystem, which is in a way, a challenge for us, right? We have so much capital, chasing so few good companies in the market. I've heard somebody mention the other day that, look, if you want to raise money, this is the year to raise money. Just go for it.
yeah. That's the advice I'm going to give to our portfolio also, Karthik.
Quite right. Quite right.
And we have Bhargavi also, looks like at the right time.
Hi.
Yeah, Bhargavi is joining us from a really fabulous location this time, Karthik.
Yeah, looks like a vacation spot. Where are you vacationing?
Always on vacation.
Guys, why can't you look very blurry, Vinod? Are you drunk?
Oh, is it better now?
His laptop is.
It's a laptop camera. Do you want me to switch?
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's the camera or maybe the internet connection. Do you have a weak internet or something?
Oh, is it? Okay.
Hmm.
Let me just check that.
And Bhargavi, you need to get creative with light.
Next time. Now I know the angles, right? So
Yeah.
there will be more focused light next time.
And you know what Vinod does, right? Vinod is an expert with lighting.
Yeah, I can see it in his specs.
Right, right. All
Anyway,
right.
Okay, I think that was a very useful conversation which happened over the last 1 minute.
That's what happens on freewheeling. You
yeah.
never know exactly what you're going to talk about.
So, yeah, Bhargavi, we've been talking about now the crazy number of acquisitions going around, and
Yeah,
especially.
somebody is shopping. You know what I saw when Byju's acquisition? I saw. I'm like, I was talking to a bunch of women to do some research on a couple of shopping trends little while back, and you guys know the inside story why I would have done that. so. Um, uh, because I wanted to know whether women were buying more during the last 1 year when they were stepping out. Because I was actually buying more certain categories, right? So it's actually true because you don't have anything else to do. So you just go to Insta, you find new products, and you try new products, right? So I felt Byju's was doing the same thing. So last week, yeah, this comes into my kitty. This week, let me put this into my kitty, and maybe next week, let's see what's happening. They're just buying,
So,
shopping spree.
see, especially the last acquisition was very interesting, right? Because the news earlier spoke about they wanting to acquire a similar company, a
Yes,
larger.
yes, yes.
and that didn't go through. It fell off for whatever reason, and they said, okay, let me acquire the next best company. I'm not going to wait, right? It's like they're going to buy it, or they're going to buy and build. Either way, it looks like, right? I mean, they're not just going to then wait out of any particular space in their tech, right? And the Akash acquisition came as a surprise shocker to a lot of people, saying, look,
Yes,
we will
yes.
revolutionize the world, by doing online technology-led education. Then you go on and acquire one of the largest players in the offline space, right? That surprised, but I'm not surprised. Look, this is trying to be a very large, significant company in the education space, offline or online, right? I think it doesn't matter. That's what I think this is like. It's similar to omni-channel retailing. What I think, the domination is going to be, three companies or maybe four companies at the max to dominate the tech space, and everybody will have to consolidate around them. Looks like, that's the at least what currently is, and it's a large market as always.
You know what investors are saying? I was talking to an investor today morning. So, and he was like, oh my God, I hope they have enough money left to buy some of my portfolio company.
I was gonna ask you what is gonna happen to all the crazy number of edtech companies that got funded this past year.
Yeah. And Karthik, we just put up just before Bhargavi came, one of our companies, right in the tech space. Now we're talking of, investing one their companies all get to be acquired by Byju's, huh? Interesting times, man. Yeah. That's interesting. I think that gives us a little bit of clue, right? We're also working on another edtech company, hopefully sometime soon. Yeah.
And one of our non-edtech companies also starting to do something edtech related now.
Yeah, that's also
morphing into edtech.
Yeah.
No,
Enabling
even
edtech
better,
at
right?
least.
Education infra
Edtech
or
enabler.
support. Yeah, enabler.
Yeah, but we should create some sector name for that, Bhargavi. Just like people created passion economy, Legion created. She launched a fund, right? I was telling you that was one of the news that caught me, right? Like Legion launched a $30 million passion economy fund. She coined the word when she was in A16Z, and now she launched a fund with the who's who of in from the valley, right? Very interesting passion economy. Like Brand Camel launched a work life VC. This again, right, is super verticalization, micro VC, passion economy. So you should create this word, Bhargavi, for infra for edtech. You should call it edinfra or some, super name that you have to coin and write an article, and we should own that, and we can raise a fund on top of it, Bhargavi. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, our listeners are also welcome to share your suggestions, and we will credit you for that, of course, in our next freewheeling or whenever, right, we decide.
So please give us a one-word, two-word name for educational tools and enablement, and that's the fund thesis which Bhargavi is going to put up on. Yeah. Karthik.
Edtech stack.
Yeah, something. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that also happened. Yeah. So work life is a VC, passion economy is a VC, so remote tools is a VC. So it's possible, absolutely possible. Yeah. Ed infra or something like that is what I've been seeing.
Do we have any only edtech focused funds?
Yeah. There is a
like in India.
In India, Karthik, I'm trying to recall, but Owl Ventures. Owl Ventures is a large global tech fund. Not they don't invest in early stage. They're investors in Byju. They're investors.
I know private equity, Kaizen.
Kaizen we know in India, but strangely, right, there is no entry, mid stage, or even like early stage edtech only firm, Karthik. I think we should ask that question also. Why, right? When did the edtech investment boom happen in India?
Year and a half, 2 years max.
Yeah, so nobody set up a fund, because it just happened because COVID just came like a river, and it just flooded the market with edtech investments, and crazy amount of money going into edtech companies, right? And that's also the noise, and some people saying, I was reading an article in Scroll, Karthik. I'll share that. I think this is one of the things that we keep in mind when we are discussing, edtech companies, especially. This article, talks of what will happen, once schools reopens? What happens to these edtech companies, once schools reopen? I'll share that link. Maybe you should pull it across because we're still on
Yeah,
edtech.
yeah.
Bhargavi can probably give an answer because Bhargavi has been telling multiple times, right? Like what happens? Our kids will have only so much time, even if they come back, right? Once school start happening, right? How much time will they spend time on the computer screens? So what happens to the EdTech one is a question that's being raised in this article. I think and there are some valid points. I don't deny it, but I also sense look, we've kind of did a fundamental shift, and there is going to be a lot of online and digital education that's going to happen. There is no running away from that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually talking to somebody who is now closely involved in a large corporate in edtech space for our portfolio company, which is trying to become an enabler, right? So discussing exactly on this, what will happen. But one thing which I think is, of course, the fully offline schools might restart. However, the after school, um, a large chunk might remain digital still on especially things like coding, soft skills, learn entrepreneurship, learn communication, read English. All those things might remain digital still. But I think there will be a consolidation that will happen because many fringe players will start going away and only the quality ones are going to remain.
Mm, mm, mm.
Interesting. All right,
Yeah.
so there you have it.
Yeah, yeah. There are a bunch of articles talking about. Interesting, yeah. A tech scenario. Let's see how it kind of plays out. We have our fingers in the pie, little bit. Uh, let's see how that plays out for us, Karthik.
But that's an interesting segue for us, right? Yesterday I was on that clubhouse room. I was just thinking to myself, everybody was discussing about various sectors, that they were very gung ho about. I think somebody from IAN suggested a couple of sectors, and then SaaS was mentioned. Somebody mentioned fintech and healthcare. Conspicuous by its absence was edtech, right? In reality, I think edtech has seen a lot of activity in the last 1 year. Even
Yeah.
for us, right? I think almost like some 12 to 16% of all the companies that we've looked at were edtech, right?
Bhargavi pulled some numbers a couple of days ago.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
yeah.
Percentage, I'll tell you.
Yeah. So I think
That's
she
that's
mentioned,
a staggering number.
yeah, Bhargavi mentioned that we had looked at 110 companies in the edtech
And
space.
10 companies in edtech space, or it's edtech related.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
that's how.
what we may have looked at some 1,000 odd companies or even more,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
most likely.
Yeah, we looked at, I think, Karthik, if my memory is right, 1,200 range roughly. It would have
Right.
increased fast, but yeah, that's like really 10% of all companies that we've looked at is in the tech space in the last 1 year almost. So you can, maybe you should put that up. That's like a significant data chunk, and that is why building, somebody like Class Plus, right, is a infra play for EdTech, which Bhargavi was telling, right.
Yeah.
For example, right, I wouldn't be surprised if I was jobless. I would build a marketing agency for just EdTech players. I would make decent money for now, I think. So there's so many players, right? You just need to acquire users. So it's going to be like, potentially, all horizontalize your service for all the EdTech players in some form or the other. Could really work. Could be an interesting thought process and thesis to.
Fund, if somebody does it.
Fund also can be done. EdTech fund would have been actually a great idea. Little
Not
late.
fund. Will you fund somebody who's I'm doing marketing for edtech?
Yeah, as a services business. Yeah, it's a services business.
I know, but today so many such marketing enablement tools are molded as products.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, it depends on if we have SaaS for SaaS, right? Maybe somebody builds SaaS for EdTech or something like. I don't know. I mean, it's possible. You can productize some things for EdTech. There's a lot of companies in the market. We've also kind of seen that. So there are
Yeah,
people
yeah, yeah.
trying to productize that also. If it is possible to scale, right? Why not? I think we would look at it seriously. I think, and we are saying that, right? Look, we are looking at infra companies for it. See, what this reminds me of, Karthik. It goes back to the old Kalari days a little bit. um, you can fund the wave of e-commerce, and then you can fund shovels and tools for e-commerce.
Mhm.
This happened in that
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I agree. Yes.
And this happened in the second wave also, Karthik, in lending wave also, frankly speaking, right? Don't fund
Mm.
lending companies, but fund tools of lending. Again,
Yeah.
tools like credit profiling is a tool. But eventually becoming lending is another story. That's what I remember very clearly, in those two spaces, right? You fund the guys who make shovels rather than, the actual core product itself, which is worked
Correct. Correct.
for a lot of VCs. Kind
Yeah.
of overlooked, but yeah, that's another catch. Interesting thing. Maybe we should dive deep, and we are giving away our thinking for the future on what to do in edtech space. Yeah.
Yes. Mm.
So the next topic I wanted to ask Vinod was all the funds. What's up with all the funds? So many announcements, right? And I saw a post by Shanti who said this is like really the time for India SaaS because announcements for SaaS only funds have come. Like I think she mentioned like 2 or 3 funds, right, at various stages. So and we also know so many other early investment syndicates or funds coming up. So what does it mean for the industry? What are your thoughts?
I think what it means for the industry and what it means for us is even more important.
What it means for us is secondary.
Do you want the politically correct answer or?
Have I ever done anything politically correct?
Yeah. So, Bhargavi, I think what Shanti mentioning is about Avatar, right? Raising a really large fund again, for SaaS companies. And then the other story that happened, which for the first story on Cap Table, right? Cap Table's coming out of your
Yes,
stories,
yes.
stable, which is similar to Morning Context and the Ken, that's Cap Table. Cap Table broke the story about Girish and Manav of Ika, Girish of Freshworks, and along with Shubham, doing a 80 to 100 million early stage SaaS fund. I think it's different for a couple of reasons, right? First time you have two founders who are running full time companies and also doing a fund, and this is very clearly saying, look, I'm going to only do SaaS. Very very clear, right? And I noticed a few comments saying, here and there saying, that this means a lot because nobody's done this in the Indian ecosystem. This is going to again set some kind of a benchmark, some kind of a new way. How do you set up a fund, or who sets up a fund, right? That is where I think we're talking about this new fund. Interesting news. I think it points to a larger COVID impact. We've been talking edtech. I think in the COVID period, right, a lot of investors, took fancy for SaaS. It's not that SaaS didn't exist prior to COVID happened. What they realized is, right, you can build a SaaS company in a remote first way for the first time without blaming anything, right? Look, you don't need to be in the US to build a SaaS company, right? I can build for anywhere in the world.
Hello, Vinod.
I think you're frozen for a second, Vinod.
Okay. Are you? Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we're all struggling with the lighting, man. We can hear you though.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can do something. But I'm just saying, look.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I think Bhargavi and I, we are
Okay.
too much in the dark. Yeah, but people can see us now.
Got
Yeah.
it. No, I'm just telling you. Look, the SaaS thing is an underlying game, which we didn't notice, yeah, during the COVID wave. So that's what I was hinting at, and there's been like a lot of people investing in SaaS. Uh, Frankly, for that matter, right, an anecdotal stuff. Talking to a few people, right, anybody who's coming out of Freshworks, right, even before he reaches his house, right, term sheet is being signed by an investor.
Good stuff.
If somebody leaving Freshworks, he before he heads back home, he has a term sheet in his hand.
This is like PayPal mafia of
Yeah,
2000s. No?
Yeah. So we should see a flurry of announcements in the next couple of months, weeks, right? SaaS investments left, right, and center. That's already been done. And if somebody is in Freshworks, this is a great time to raise money. And if you want to build a company, looks like, I mean, not good for Freshworks, but that's what it looks like, at least. I mean, no, it is, and I think we are looking at SaaS, but maybe Bhargavi, our in-house analyst, can look at on data how many SaaS companies we've looked at.
I think we've seen quite a few SaaS companies, but honestly speaking, I think our deal flow could be much better on SaaS, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not the deal flow part, but maybe I would like to see us doing more SaaS companies.
Correct, Karthik. I think we've done 2, if you ask me, as of now.
Yeah.
Custom Fit is one everybody knows. Another one in the pipeline we should announce hopefully in a couple of weeks.
Correct.
Yeah. I think we've not consciously gone after. Maybe that's the reason. Bhargavi, you should tell. What's the SaaS thing compared to EdTech? What are we at?
I think we have seen more edtech companies than SaaS companies. I give it more to the edtech wave than anything else, right? And so you are right. I think we have looked at only about 5-6% of the companies we have tagged them as SaaS, right? But we are also very finicky people when we tag things. So let me take enterprise tech as well.
Yeah. Also, I think, but in a disclaimer is that we didn't do a very good job of tracking everything in the first few months.
That's okay. Everything is.
That's fine.
Yeah,
That's fine.
we're coming clean.
Yeah, you should not give out those tidbits of.
Look, potential LPs, we are transparent.
Software firms are around 75 or 7% of what we have seen.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's still way lower than EdTech.
Correct. No, I think our focus on SaaS.
Which makes me wonder, what did we see there?
No,
fintech,
I think
a bunch of fintech we've seen, Bhargavi. I'm guessing that fintech is probably the largest that we have seen.
I doubt it. I think EdTech is the largest, is my view. But anyway, we can look at the data again. But I think, Karthik has a point, right? We can look at more SaaS, and then maybe you should use this forum, Karthik. SaaS founders coming fresh out of Works, coming fresh out.
What are you guys doing?
Where are you guys going? Our email ID is hello@javacapital.co. Please do shoot us an email. We will see what we can do best for SaaS companies. We've invested in a couple of them already, and we hopefully we'll do something more. I think, Karthik, SaaS requires more than just putting out email ID, man. Maybe this is something what we should do. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. If you're listening, if you're glancing this screen, just shoot us an email. If not, we know there's some plans, so we'll do that. No, but in all honesty, though, we are thinking about, doing something in that space anyway. The great minds of Bhargavi and Vinod are churning. Man, that conversation is pending. We have to do that.
Yeah. Great. That moves from SaaS Naya funds coming up and new funds. I think, the larger point, Bhargavi, on the fund point, right, that you brought up, right? I,
Hmm?
I think this is a super competitive environment, especially if you are a pre-seed seed stage story. You have to get some velocity and launch yourself out of that orbit, which is the current orbit, and differentiate yourself. And I think whoever does that, right? I think yesterday we listened to. Uh,
I was gonna just come to that actually. I
Yeah,
have a
yeah,
number on
yeah.
that. Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your point. I'll
Yeah. I was
throw
saying
some
yesterday
statistics.
listening to what Anand of Jungle Ventures, spoke about, right? How they, kind of, moved from a 10 million orbit first fund to 100 million
Mm-hmm.
second fund orbit to a 250 million, 40
Yeah,
million
yeah, yeah.
orbit, right? I mean, that's the only way, right? Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in the 10 million orbit or, whatever orbit that you are in. And as you said, right, the leap, the first time you do from 10 to whatever, right, it has to be significant leap,
5x to 10x.
5x to 10x. So if you can do
Yeah.
that kind of a leap, I think that's the differentiation leap. Otherwise, I think this layer of this 5 to 10 million orbit, right, is going to be super crowded, and it's going to be like nasty fights, like we've seen. It is going to extremely competitive nature. I think that's what is pre-seed currently looking like. And somebody
Mm.
like Bloom is vacated its space in this space because they also realize, right, it's very hard to fight this place anymore. We are currently in that space. It's a hard fight, but hopefully you can we can differentiate and move to the next topic.
But
So
I
just to
have a
put
different
some,
take, right? I think it's good for the entire ecosystem, right? Because then it's going to encourage so many more people to become entrepreneurs. It's going to also increase the funnel. And if we look at the valley today, which I have looked at it when I was an entrepreneur, right? There are actually so many seed stage funds, really. So hundreds of them, right? Which would have, some of them are started by people who just graduated from the likes of Harvard or MIT as well. So uh, which actually helped the entire ecosystem in some way. So I think it's good for the ecosystem. Personally, yes. Uh, it's again like being a startup in a crowded space, how you are going to take your pie and stand out, differentiate, what's your USP, moat, all that thing, right? What we ask for startup in a crowded space, we have to look for ourselves and build it. But I think for the ecosystem, it's really good.
Yeah, best time to start a startup, frankly speaking. Right, there's so much liquidity in the market. So
yeah. So according to this report by IVCA, some $341 million have been invested into 730 deals between 2018 and 2020. These are by micro funds. So funds smaller than $30 million in size, and then syndicates and etc. etc.
that's interesting topic. Yeah,
So that's actually a big number. It's a big number, right, for the stage, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So we are, I think, in like for the long run, because as we said, right, the M&A ecosystem as it matures, right, this ecosystem also matures. We may be a little away from what Silicon Valley is, but not too far away, right? Some of the
Yeah.
numbers,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the number of unicorns, all that's just catching up really fast. In like 5 years, it will
Mm.
be completely a very very different world
I
altogether.
think Abhishek of Traction was mentioning yesterday that an average Series A now in the last 3-4 years
Mm.
has gone up to like what, close to $6 million now, an average Series A, which is a jump from $4 million few years
I'm
ago, right? In the
seeing
previous
also, right? So many
yeah,
first time founders are just
correct.
getting like 2 million checks, 4 million checks. And if you're second time successful exited founder, 14 million, 15 million is the minimum check which you
Hmm.
get, right?
Yeah.
Today,
No,
actually,
plenty of anecdotal evidence on that. Same with Seed also, Bhargavi. Like even Seed, apparently the average has gone up to $1 million now, which used to be like $500,000 between 2011, 2012 to 2016. Between 16 and 20, apparently it's $1 million. Like a proper seed round is averaging around a million.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Great. Maybe that comes to what caught your eye, Karthik. or to Bhargavi? Bhargavi, I think, has got a lot of stuff that she's got her eye.
My caught my eye is shopping only. Byju's shopping. This week, I have actually spent again a lot of time on EdTech after a long time, which is good.
Yeah.
I took a break and now again coming back with a lot of perspective. So yeah, and it was rekindled by Byju's mainly.
Interesting. Yep. Yep.
Hmm.
And another thing I think which caught my eye is yeah, I wanted to again I think we just discussed, right? Second time founders raising capital in stealth, like easily raising 15 million, 14 million dollars. So yeah.
We're talking about Raghu's Zog, right? Yeah.
Raghu, not only Raghu, right? Another uh, Zomentum also, not second time founder, but coming from Axel Stable.
Hmm.
And very quickly they have gone ahead and look at their funding numbers now. So those are some of mind-boggling numbers, which the velocity at which it has happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and Aprameya's coup just raised, which is getting a lot of traction apparently.
Hmm.
So these are all interesting developments with second-time founders.
Correct. And one thing that got like the announcement today or yesterday night, Karthik, for me, right, was Leverage Edu raising $6 million
Mm.
from Tomorrow Capital, right? I
Mm.
I think that was like came out of a little bit of a surprise, but the reason is I'm saying I've known both VC, right, and we've been following the space. And in COVID, right, I assumed this is not a easy business to run, right? Given that, but they just surprised, right, with a large fundraise announcement. That's the reason for my surprise. I knew they'd be great guys, and tomorrow doing it at that numbers, right, was like absolute surprise for me. Right, yeah, good friends at Bloom. I'm sure they've got this bang on. With Sajid, on this. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
What caught your eye, Karthik?
Already done. We already covered what caught my eye.
Oh, done. That's all.
Yeah. No,
Nothing more.
what
No tidbits.
really
No Tirupati
uh,
trip.
oh God, there is. I'm so looking forward to it now. I, but just so you guys know, I'm taking all the precautions. I've loaded up on masks, the sanitizers and everything. Right, we just got a resupply of everything, so that's good. But just to wrap it up, right? What caught my eye were a few transactions that happened. I think some of that, we've already covered earlier on, right? Like Reliance acquiring Milk Basket and a bunch of other things, right? Well, also, the beauty about this job is you're always learning. There's
Yeah.
always some nuance that you learn every week, right? uh, so I've just had a learning session just today, if you speak, right?
My poke worked.
So it's like an onion. There is so many layers to this job. But that's
I
what I
was
love
like,
about it. You
we
always
can,
have
if
to
we just start that topic, we can actually talk for another 15,
whatever.
20 minutes easily.
Yeah,
And that is why I just wanted to give you that nudge, extra nudge.
correct. I am looking back in hindsight. I'm much wiser now. I'll know what I'll do things differently next time around. But this has been a good learning nonetheless.
I don't know what exactly you guys are talking of, but yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, right. We believe that.
Totally, yes. But yes, see, for the benefit of whoever is listening and going to
Listening.
see,
Yeah.
we are going to probably very soon do a exclusive session for founders on pitfalls or how can you quicken up your fundraising process in terms of after you get a term sheet, right?
Mhm.
Because mostly we work with very, very early stage where founders are new to this entire process. I that's very important, and that is probably something important we have to give back to founders for the benefit of everybody, because we have seen certain patterns over and over again in many of our deals now. What say people? We have to do that, right? Let's do one exclusive session and just for founders on how do you crash your process.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right. What are you guys doing this weekend?
Hey, nothing, man. Nothing specific. I think I have a session post this. I'm just keeping it slightly chill. After last week's traveling a bit, I just want to kind of keep it chill this week.
Yeah. Cool. So I am off to Tirupati this weekend. So I'm just gonna have some nice family time to spend.
Yeah, and Karthik will pray for what I want to do this weekend to try and close out something. Just been dragging on.
For sure, for sure.
Do special prayer.
Special prayer, yeah.
Yeah. So the people who drop money in Tirupati, right? This time, you should give us money.
Yes. I'll pray to Almighty God. I'll try to get some brownie points for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, you guys. So we'll see you again next week.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll have some interesting guests next week, by the way.
Hopefully.
Either way, whether the thing that we're working on finishes or not, I'm hopeful that it'll finish. And if we do, then we'll have interesting guests anyway. But regardless, we'll have some fun guests next week, promised for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
All righty.
No, this
Bye-bye.
distracted, so we will close the meeting now.
Yes.
No, I have another session to talk exactly about negotiation and execution at 7:00. So I'm like, suddenly realize I need to prepare for it.
Where is this? Is on Clubhouse?
No, Karthik, this is the analyst group. So I'm going to.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I think I signed up for it, man. I might as well listen in.
Okay, now the
Yeah.
expectations are even higher. Okay.
I'll throw you some curveballs.
Yeah.
Look out for anonymous names, okay?
Yeah. You have to make it interactive, like what I did with Aditi. That was the idea, right?
Okay,
Okay.
then.
Yeah. Let's see you
Hello.
later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.